guys, it's the Black Critic. Where am I? Who am I? Who are you? I'm so confused. What the hell is up? Oh. Well, that was weird. Hey guys, it's the Black Critic Guy, and I'm here today to review the anime that you all were asking me to watch, Golden Time. So Golden Time follows a boy named Tadabamri who suffers from amnesia after an accident on a bridge, and after spending some time in the hospital, finally decides to go attend college. Why does he decide to go to college, and why does his parents let him? I have no clue. And while at college, he meets a bunch of interesting people, including a girl named Linda who knew Tada and had some sort of relationship with him before his accident, a boy named Yana who befriends him on his first date and is constantly stalked by an old childhood friend of his named Coco, who will eventually build a friendship and later on a relationship with Tada. And it basically follows him as he builds relationship with these various people and also deals with the memories of his past life. Now, this was one of the most voted upon anime for me to review for Drama Month, second only to Clannad and Clannad After Story. So needless to say, I was very interested to see what this anime was all about. And I gotta say, for the most part, I did enjoy this anime. I did have a couple problems here and there, but overall, I liked it. But what elements of this anime did I really like, you may ask? Well, first off, and the most obvious one, the animation is solid in this anime. And I really liked how the animation really set the tone or the mood for the scene. Like when everything's happy and a little comical, it's more bright colors, more vivid colors. But when it's more sad and depressing and hits more of that dramatic tone, the colors are a little bit more dimmer, more darker, and it sets the tone very well. I like that. I really like the main story that was being told in this anime, with our main character Tadabamri dealing with the conflict of who he once was and who he once loved, and who he is now and who he loves now. There's this really interesting clash and conflict with the identity of Tadabamri, and I really liked seeing that here in this anime. It was very interesting and unique. It made for some of the most compelling, well-told, dramatic, and emotional scenes in this anime, where you see Tadabamri just clashing with the love that he has now, Coco, and the love that his past life had with Linda. And you see this conflict throughout the entire anime, and it had me on the fence too, because I really liked his relationship with Coco, but at the same time they would show some backstory and show the relationship that Tada once had with Linda that made me really want him to end up with Linda again. It was really hard for me to choose, and I actually liked this whole conflict that he was dealing with. It wasn't like a cheesy love triangle either. It was handled in a very mature way, and it wasn't super silly or overly dramatic. It felt not only subdued, but it felt very real and genuine, like someone who really was dealing with amnesia could face a dilemma just like this. But a good story is nothing without some interesting and colorful characters, and I did like most of the characters in the anime. I especially loved our main character of Tadabamri, who, as I mentioned earlier, is dealing with the dilemma of who he once was and who he is now, and who does he truly love. And I really appreciated that the anime did not portray him as an asshole just using these two girls because he can't make up his damn mind. It's much more deeper than that. Again, going back to his dilemma, the old self really loved Linda. He gave his heart and soul to that girl. But after the accident, he now has a new identity and a new personality that has now grown a connection and has fallen in love with Coco. And you really feel sympathetic to both of their plights. And going off of Tada, I do love his two love interests in the anime, Coco and Linda. Coco does kind of come off as a bitch when you first see her. She's very possessive and very stalkerish, but as the series progresses, you kind of see a more vulnerable side to her, and you understand why she acts the way she is, and she just overall is a fun girl. I really liked her very positive personality, her cheerful personality. I liked her character. But Linda honestly was my favorite of the two because she had such such a great personality and a kind heart, and I really loved her relationship with both the old Tada and the new Tada. With the old Tada, you can really tell that she really cared about him, she really liked him, and they had such a great relationship. With the new Tada, she still kind of does care for him, she still watches over him, but they also have such a good camaraderie. They understand each other, they relate to each other, and they have such a good friendship. They work very well with each other. And there were also a few interesting side characters in the anime as well. The three that really stood out to me is, first off, the two girls from the Tea Club. I really like them. Their fun, zany, eccentric personalities were a delight to see. And also, they offered the only scene that I felt like was the true, genuine college experience, where they went out, got drunk, and went wild. The second standout is this guy by the name of 2D-kun. Now, I don't really remember what his real name is, but the reason they call him 2D-kun is because after being dragged against his will by the Tea Club, he decided to give up on the 3D world and only focus on girls in the 2D world. And I really liked how he felt like a genuine friend to everybody in the group. Always there, always supportive, and always trying to bring everybody together to have a fun time. I really liked that. Although I was irritated that they never really showed him in his little 2D world. There was one scene in the entire anime where they actually showed him inside his room with the posters and all that stuff of 2D girls, but that was it. And the third and final standout was this girl by the name of Naina, who's this heavy metal chick. She wears all black and has piercings and all that stuff. I just loved her give no shit attitude. I liked her personality a lot, and she does show a genuine side to her later on in the series. I liked her. Hell, Tada, why not just go out with this chick? She's already your neighbor, she has a great personality, and she'd be fun to hang out with. Done. And going off of the characters, some of the relationships in this anime are executed very well. As I mentioned earlier, I did like Tada's relationship with both Linda and Coco. I felt a genuine connection with each of them, and I just really found it charming. I did also like the friendship between Tada, Coco, 2D-kun, Yana, and Oka. I did feel like they were genuine friends. And lastly, the Festival Club gang, I liked all of them. They were all fun, they all felt like a team, and they worked very well together. And lastly, I thought the Japanese voice acting was done very well. I really got a sense of the emotions that the characters were going through from the portrayal of the voice actors themselves, so good job there. But as much as I did like a lot of elements of this anime, there were a couple of things that I didn't like about this anime. The first one that I didn't like, and it took me a while to realize this, but when I realized it, I was like, yeah, he's a piece of shit. And that is Yana the character. This guy is an asshole. He's a really bad character. And why do I not like him? Well, first of all, he's a very selfish character. I never once in the entire anime heard him talk about somebody else's feelings or helping someone else out with their dilemma. I mean, there were moments where he had to help them out, but he was more or less forced to do so. He just never really cared about anybody. It was all about himself, like, I like this girl, and I want to do this, or I don't want you stalking me anymore. You don't think about me, you only think about you. Which I found that very hypocritical for him to say to Coco when, honestly, he's just as selfish as she was. And secondly, I never felt like he had a genuine connection with any of the characters in the anime. I never felt like he was truly their friends or that he truly cared about this person. It all felt very forced. And lastly, he doesn't really stand out as a character, but that might be attributed to the fact that he doesn't really get a lot of focus, attention, or development for his character, so there that is. And I know that wasn't the intent for the character. I know they were trying to portray him as a sympathetic man who's down on his luck, but he just didn't come off as that. Instead, he came off as selfish, boring, arrogant, just blah. Nothing interesting about him, and that's why I don't like his character. And speaking of characters, I felt like some characters really lacked in development or weren't given enough focus or attention. The first one being Oka. I did like her, but she was kind of boring and I didn't really care about the dilemma that she was facing because they didn't really make her that interesting of a character. She is likable, but just not interesting. But the one I think they dropped the ball on was the lack of focus given to Tada's parents. I mean, their son has amnesia. It would have been very interesting to see how they dealt with that and what they went through dealing with the son that has amnesia, but they weren't given any focus. And whenever you saw them, they just said like a few lines and that's it. bye bye, see you later. And that really sucks because that could have made for an interesting and emotional story, seeing him try to reconnect with his parents that he doesn't really remember. Now this next problem might piss off a few people, especially if you're a fan of their relationship, but just keep in mind that these are just my thoughts about the anime. And honestly, as much as I did think that their relationship was very well developed and I did like it at first, as the series progressed, I found Tada and Coco's relationship pretty boring and dull. I mean, after the initial relationship, as it continues down the series, there's nothing really interesting about their relationship, and it just gets really sappy and repetitive. I mean, it's just like, oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too. Oh, I'm mad at you. Oh, I'm mad at you too. Oh, I forgive you. Oh, I forgive you too. Let's make out. It was like that like after episode 9, and it just got really boring, and I just didn't care about it. Again, it's well developed. I really liked it at first, but as it continued, it just lost my interest, honestly. And lastly, the ending. Now, I will say that I did like the first half of the ending, but the second half, I wasn't a big fan of, and I found it very forced and cheesy. It's one of those everything is fixed endings. And I won't go into great detail because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I wasn't that big of a fan of the last part of the ending. The first part I liked, not so much the last. And this last one's a personal gripe. I will not hold this against the anime, but I really didn't like the melodrama in this anime. Yes, it was necessary, and yes, it's a bit realistic, but it just got so tiresome and over the top. It just really brought me down, and you all know how I feel about melodrama. I fucking hate it. And there's a shit ton of them in this anime, and it irritated me. But I won't hold it against the anime because the melodrama actually served a purpose, and it did feel genuine and realistic. But I just didn't like it, personally. Overall, besides the few problems that I have with this anime, I still really enjoyed watching Golden Time. I thought some of the comedic moments were done very well, and they did make me laugh. The drama was executed very well. The story was interesting, compelling, and unique. I liked most of the characters, and the animation is just gorgeous. And that's why I'm going to give this anime a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely an enjoyable anime. But anyway, what did you guys think about this anime? Did you like it a lot? Or did you find it boring and dull and way too dramatic? And let me know, who is your favorite side character in a drama anime? Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned, I will be seeing Transcendent this Friday, and I'll have a review out that Friday as well. And also, this Wednesday, tomorrow, I have a new video coming out on We Live Film on my top 5 favorite Johnny Depp performances. So go check that out and subscribe to We Live Film. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm 21 II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.